Okay, you have some skill.
So what is lucid dreaming? Lucid dreaming is the ability for someone who is in the dream to realize they are dreaming, and when they realize they are dreaming, they have the power and the ability to control the dream and those around them in the dream. So when does lucid dreaming happen? Well, to understand that, you need to understand that there are cycles of sleep that people go through when they sleep. They start off in a very light sleep, and then they cascade kind of into a deeper sleep known as REM sleep, or rapid eye movement. This is described as when the dreamer's eyes actually move back and forth underneath their eyelids, and that is when typically people dream the most. Should I buy books that are written about lucid dreaming? Don't waste your time or money. There is nothing about lucid dreaming that you cannot find online or in this video for absolutely free. Lucid dreaming is very personal to the dreamer. So you're going to have a lot of experiences or a lot of techniques or a lot of exercises that allow you to become lucid that other people might not share or might not also use. And that's okay. Really, it's just more about a personal experience, and most of all, it's about practice. So there are two main types of lucid dreaming. The first one is the DILD, which stands for Deduction-Induced Lucid Dreaming. This is the one we will be discussing the most because this is the one I use the most, the method I use the most, and it is the easiest method for beginners to use, and literally anybody can do it. The second type of lucid dreaming, which we will also be touching on, is the WILD, or WILD. That stands for Wake-Induced Lucid Dreaming. This one is a bit more difficult, as you can imagine, and we won't be discussing this quite as much as the DILD dreams, but if you're curious, it involves the dreamer to go from conscious awake into the dream state while being lucid already. So once they snap into the dream, they are already lucid, ready to go.
They say we only use a fraction of our brain's true potential. Now, that's when we're awake. When we're asleep, our mind can do almost anything.
So what can you do while lucid dreaming? Well, the sky's the limit. In fact, I'm going to scroll through a whole bunch of abilities you can do when you lucid dream. So, since we've answered all the first initial questions that come along with lucid dreaming, let's start talking about how you lucid dream. So, the foundation of lucid dreaming is what we call dream recall. Dream recall is the ability for someone to recall the dream they had the night before. I'm sure you've had this experience before where you first wake up having come from a really awesome dream, and then moments after you wake up, you can't remember hardly anything about it, or you can only remember a few small details. This is that dream recall ability. It's the ability to retain the information of the dream that you just came out from without losing it in waking life. One of the most effective ways to increase dream recall for those who are just starting to lucid dream is keeping a dream journal. Now, if you like to keep your phone by your bed, or maybe just a pencil and paper, whatever you'd like to do, it's imperative that when you first wake up from a dream, in those few moments when you first wake up, that you jot down as much as you can about the dream that you just had. Whatever you can remember, no matter if it's a strange event, a strange detail, characteristic, maybe the people that were there, whatever you can do to jot down as much detail as possible about the dream you just had in your journal, whether it be on your phone or on paper. The more of a dream journal you keep will increase your dream recall. It's like exercising your brain in remembering the dream, and it's very important for lucid dreaming.
Need a totem.
What?
A totem, it's a small
That's
personal...
some subconscious you've got on you, Cobb. She's a real charmer.
Oh, I see you met Mrs. Cobb.
She's his wife?
Yeah, so a totem. You need a small object, potentially heavy, something you can have on you all the time that no one else knows.
Like a coin?
No, it needs to be more unique than that. Like, this is a loaded die. I can't let you touch it, that would defeat the purpose. See, only I know the balance and the weight of this particular loaded die. That way, when you look at your totem, you know beyond a doubt that you're not in someone else's dream.
Questioning your reality. This method is probably one of the more funner ways to figure out if you're dreaming or not, or to help you establish patterns in your dreams, because you'll kind of recognize it from movies such as Inception, where they use totems to kind of figure out if they are dreaming or not. Much in that similar regard, there are things that you can do in real life to test if you are dreaming or not. These first few reality checks, as we call them. These first few reality checks are the most helpful reality checks. They are 100% effective 100% of the time. Reading or writing in a dream. Reading aloud in a dream. Looking at a clock or telling time in a dream. And trying to text in a dream. If you are reading a book in a dream, you will find that the words themselves wiggle, or the sentence completely changes as you are reading it. Like, you think you will be reading a sentence and all of a sudden it will completely change and now you're reading another sentence. The same goes for telling time. You will be looking at a clock, whether it be a face clock or a digital clock, and you will find that the ability to tell time in a dream is very, very difficult. Some reality checks that I like to use are the plug your nose reality check. This one requires that you just simply plug your nose and you try to breathe through your nose. Obviously, if you are awake, plugging your nose will not allow you to breathe. If you're in the dream, plugging your nose, you will still be able to breathe, because in real life, you don't have your nose plugged. Another one is also doing a tattoo check, whereas if you have any sort of tattoo that is visible to you, you know, like I do on my arm over here, if you have any tattoo that is visible to you on a daily basis, looking at it and seeing if it's different, if it's changed, if it's not even there, that will also clue you in that you are dreaming.
This isn't real.
What is real? How do you define real?
So now that you have established your dream journal, you have practiced these reality checks throughout your day, and you've established the strangeness of your dreams and patterns, let's talk about what happens when you first start lucid dreaming. So when you first start lucid dreaming, you need to know that there may be a few things that'll happen to you as you start lucid dreaming. And you need to know that these things are completely normal, but they may be very scary. This happens because when you first start lucid dreaming, especially the first time, you will get very excited and your heart will begin to race. And when your heart races from all that adrenaline and excitement, a few things like this may happen. Number 1, when you first become lucid, you may get so excited that you suddenly wake up. This happens all the time. It's unfortunate, but it's just a little bit of a setback and you can overcome this. When you first become lucid, like I said, you'll become so excited that your heart will race and your body will think that something is wrong, and it'll wake you up immediately, pulling you out of the dream. All you need to do is just work on breathing, calming yourself down, telling yourself that even though you're lucid, even though you're in the dream, and this is super cool and exciting, you just need to keep yourself calm. Maybe whatever you do, if you have anxiety, to relieve anxiety, maybe try those in the dream as well, just to keep yourself calm. Number 2, dream characters inside your dream may become suspicious upon you becoming lucid. Much like in the movie Inception, where those dream characters were suddenly staring at the dreamer, this may happen to you when you first become lucid. I know that I've had the experience where when I suddenly became lucid, every single character in that dream suddenly stood up, turned, and stared at me. It can be very scary, but it's nothing to worry about. These dream characters are nothing but your subconscious. When you become lucid and you know you're dreaming, most things that pop up in your head will become true because you don't have control yet. You don't have control over your thoughts or the surroundings around you. Whatever pops in your head might just suddenly appear. And so when you first become lucid and you don't have control over your mind, your dreams might turn into nightmares. When I was very young and I first started to remember my dreams about age 5 or 6, I would have terrible chronic nightmares. And they were nightmares of my own making. Because I was so naturally gifted at lucid dreaming, yet not very good at controlling my dreams, I would become lucid all the time, and then any terrible thought that popped into my head, the dream would become. If there's any questions any of you guys have, or you want me to expand on any of these ideas presented in these videos, put it in the comments below.